What's up, 11.7 fans? We have a special guest on today, associate head coach of the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos. I think we have an exciting interview planned. Is it Donegal? Is that how you pronounce your first name?
You got it. You got it. Most people screw that up the first time. So
yeah, I guess I should have asked you before that we started the show how to pronounce it. But yeah, right now we're excited to have you because your team is rolling, absolutely rolling through. I think you've won, let's see, like 20 of your last 22 games or something like that. It's been great for the Gauchos.
Yeah, it's been a fun run. We're almost losing track of the games right now because it seems like it's sort of too good to be true. Like we keep waiting for us to stumble and have a bad game, and we've had a couple in there, but our guys have been unbelievably locked in, and it's been fun to be around them every day because they really are playing hard and playing really focused, which is as a coach, it's usually the hardest thing to manage, and our guys have been awesome about it lately. So 27-5 or whatever we are is a pretty good start to a year, I'd say.
Right, exactly. And I think that attributes to all the upperclassmen you guys have this year. I was looking at your stats, and every leader is either junior or senior. And you got some good arms too that are they're throwing strikes, which is all you can ask at the college level. No free passes on that team. And then the offense has been clicking pretty well too.
Yeah, it is. It's a group that has had a couple of years where they just haven't been very good, and certainly playing below their talent level, and they were hungry. They were tired of being crummy and getting their teeth kicked in, and so when you have some guys that have some talent that now have dealt with some adversity but have some real hunger to get better, it's a good combo as a coach. So it was great to step into this situation for me because they were ready for something new and ready to embrace it and ready to stop sucking, and so far they've done that and have helped our younger guys. We've got some good young guys too, a couple of sophomores that are real big factors, and one of our freshman position players hasn't been in there a lot lately, but was really big for us early. Those guys are getting that experience and not being, having too much of that pressure put on them because our older guys are really handling it. And as you mentioned, the pitching staff, it starts with those guys, the big three left-handers, two juniors and a freshman. It's been fun to play behind them because we're in every game and they get us to the sixth or the seventh every time out and don't walk people and keep the tempo going. So as a coach, and Chuck does a great job. Andrew Checkett's our head coach with those pitchers. So it's been a nice combo, and we've been able to help each other.
I saw that video of your closer, showed a lot of emotion the other Sunday, I think it was, after finishing out a sweep. He threw whatever it was, showed emotion. I was like, that's sometimes what guys miss. That's what good teams need to have, is emotion and camaraderie among the team.
Well, there was a lot of emotion in that one because we were scared to death that we were going to somehow lose that game. It's a bit of an emotional roller coaster sometimes with Big Link back there, but when you throw 98 and you got a power slider and even if you let a few guys on, you can get out of that jam, and nobody plays with more emotion than that guy. I mean, he's a guy that when he runs onto the field, everybody's paying attention, and so we're happy with that. We'll take a fist bump here or there and all that. I think that's what college baseball is great for is the emotion of it. The kids, they're 18 to 22-year-old kids. They should have emotion. If
you
they
see that video of Miami? You saw the video.
Oh yeah. Go nuts, man. Do it. Whatever. Bat flip. Pull an arrow. I don't care. Do whatever you want. It's college baseball. We just should have some fun.
Well, it seems like coming into your first year with Santa Barbara, I mean, this type of success, I'm sure you're happy about it personally.
Yeah, it's hard to find too many faults with the start we've had, and but more than anything, I tell everybody who asks how it's going and what it's like that the winning is great, and that's what we're trying to do, and we're trying to get better every day. But our guys are awesome to be around every day. I just love coming to work, and they were great from the first day we met them. When I came down and we got together in the fall, and you don't know what you got, and you hear from the boss, here's what we've got, here are the players, and here's what they're like, and then you hear from other coaches that played against them, but you don't know till you get in there with them, and they've been just incredible to work with every day. They're so much fun. We can give each other a lot of grief. but it's because we trust each other right away. We felt like, they needed what I was bringing, and I needed a group that I could be myself with, and so it's been a really good marriage from the player to coach standpoint, and that's what we tried to do right away, was change the kind of the I hate that word culture anymore, because everybody's using it and everybody talks about it. And I get it. It's a great word and it's real. I just think, sometimes it gets thrown around a little bit, but we tried to change the atmosphere, the vibe, the feeling in the clubhouse and on the practice field. And it's just been awesome. They're just so much fun to go see every day. And that's why I love this job, is because I get to work with kids who are hungry and excited, and we get to have fun with each other. And it could not have gotten off to a better start, obviously.
Well, the last thing I have to add to that is whenever, like, and I'll turn it over to Ben or whoever, but whenever you walk into a situation and, like, before you meet the guys and before they meet you, you guys both individually, you're gearing towards that. Like, you want that to happen. And then once you have that trust, and then the kids, you trust the kids and they trust you, and you guys all want to get better, I feel like that's when something really special can happen in, like, the 3 or 4 hours you guys get every day. And it seems like that's what's going on. So it's really cool to watch from the outside. That's all I wanted to say about it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's when the magic happens, is when there's trust on both sides. They know that I'm there for them, and I know that they're showing up every day, going to give me their attention and their trust, and we can do that together. We talk all the time as a staff with our players about, hey, you are why we do this job. Yeah, we got to win games to keep our jobs, and we got to keep boosters and administrators happy, but you are why we do this job, and why we show up every day. So if you understand that everything I give you, everything I say to you, even if it feels harsh or tough to hear sometimes, it's for you. That's why we're doing this. And so I'm not going to tell you something that's for me. I'm not going to yell at you just because it makes me feel better, or I'm not going to tell you to do this because I like the look of it. Or that's why I say, hey, if you want a bat flip, do it. Like, I wouldn't. That's not who I was or who I am. I didn't hit very many homers, so I didn't get bat flip much. But do you. Like, that's just what we're about. We're going to have our own personality. Clearly, I have a thing, and I know it's not for everybody, with the beard and the hair and the tats.
There's a little bit of whiteness coming into that Irish beard.
Yeah, you've noticed, huh? Since you saw me in the summer, it's grayed up a little bit. But yeah, we're just going to be ourselves and have fun doing it.
No, that's great to hear. And so for our listeners that probably don't know, you come over from University of Washington, a team that just got off of an Omaha run. So that was exciting for you, I bet. And so we want to talk about a couple things that happened while you're at Washington. Obviously, the Omaha trip, and then also you coached Hunter Bishop's older brother, Braden Bishop. And we're big Hunter Bishop fans on this podcast. We think he's probably the best player in college baseball. So we want to hear your thoughts on his brother, Braden.
I love the Bishop boys. Hunter's a badass. Hunter was a pretty bad high school player.
Really?
And I hope he hears this, because he'll laugh that I said this. And if he doesn't hear it, somebody tell him. We thought he was going to be a pitcher when he was younger. He was sort of awkward. Wow. He could throw a little bit. He couldn't hit a lick in high school. But he was great. I love that family. And Braden was awesome. Braden is supremely talented physically. Can really run, can really throw. Really struggled early out of the gate at Washington his freshman year. I think he was 0 for 32 at one point. So we had a really good relationship, because he, when I came in, he had just gotten off a pretty tough freshman year after some big expectations, and we hit it off. We had a great relationship, and he just got better and better and better, and a freak athlete, like, can do anything he wants to. And Hunter was just this, kind of dopey little kid coming to watch the games with mom and dad, and turning into suddenly like, oh, Hunter's getting bigger, Hunter's getting taller. Well, he can throw a little bit, maybe a pitch, and he was more of a football player for a long time too. He was maybe going to be a quarterback prospect, and he could really run, and maybe he was going to play wide receiver. In fact, he was going to walk on and play wide receiver at Washington for a hot minute there, and then he blew up, and then he just went nuts, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, this guy was a first rounder. he's a freak talent too, and an unbelievably great kid. Like,
Yeah.
just one of my favorite kids ever. We still, I don't know, Tracy probably doesn't want to hear this, Tracy Smith, but Heather and I text all the time. And he's just such a great kid that you want to keep that relationship. And I love that family. I'm so close with all those guys. I talk to Braden all the time, and just couldn't be more excited and proud of a kid. And just, I'm happy I know him, because he's going to be a big leaguer.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. No, that's pretty much what we've heard from everybody that knows Hunter Bishop is, he's a great kid, comes from a great family, and right now he looks like the leading candidate for the Golden Spikes Award. Like, the numbers he's putting up this year is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's stupid power, it's stupid bat speed, and he's really turning himself into a good outfielder who can throw, and he can really, really run. So somebody's going to get a good one. He just keeps getting better, and the Bishop boys are going to play in the big leagues together one day. I'd put money on that.
I think so too. And so talk to us about the trip last year to Omaha. Like, because nobody ever thinks that Washington is a baseball school. And I'm sure you guys went into the tournament. Were you a 3 seed? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure you guys, like, obviously were thinking like, oh, we got to make Omaha, but I'm sure you were just trying to get out of the regional first. You guys were at Cal State Fullerton or somewhere like that. I'm trying to remember, because it happened so quickly.
Fullerton was the super.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Fullerton was the super regional. We were in the Coastal Carolina regional with UConn and Long Island, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might sound ridiculous to say, but we went to the Coastal Regional thinking we should be the favorites. Our guys 100% believe that. When it got announced, and we were like the last team in. I think we're the highest RPI team or lowest RPI team, whatever you want to say. The worst RPI team ever to get in, if I'm not mistaken. We had to win like 7 straight series down the stretch just to get in, including winning 2 out of 3 against Stanford on the final weekend, who was number 1 at the time.
Yeah.
Just to get in, and we didn't know we were in. We were sweating it like crazy on selection Sunday there, or Monday morning. And when it got announced that we were going to Coastal, our guys cheered. I mean, they did the obligatory, hey, we're in. And then they turned around and said, oh, we're going to win this one.
Mm-hmm.
This is the matchup we want. We're going to win this one. And they'd already done a little bit of homework. They knew it was an offensive ballpark. And, we had the big guy, Joe Wainhouse, and Nick Cale hitting homers, and Willie McIver. And we had some guys who were really talented that we had some injuries early in the year, and we didn't get off to a great start. And we had some stuff happen to us and kind of put ourselves in a spot. But that was a group that when we recruited them, we thought that was the group that would get us to Omaha. We really did as a staff. That was the group we thought was our difference maker. It was that group itself. That junior class was ranked 8th in the country coming out of high school. So we had, because Washington was not a baseball school, and a lot of people like you didn't look at it that way. And Oregon State's the beast in the Northwest, and so we had to overcome a lot of that. But that was a group we thought could really get us there. And it was just baseball happened, and injuries and life, and we didn't get off to the start we wanted. But going into that postseason, we really did. We thought we're really good. And we think we're the favorite in the Coastal Regional, and we go 3-0 there, and we're watching along the way to see if it was going to be Stanford or Fullerton. You could kind of see it was shaping up to be that, and we thought, well, we just beat Stanford a week ago, 2 out of 3, so that sounds fun. And then Fullerton, we felt like, hey, we can really pitch, and offensively we thought we could do some damage against those guys. So it wasn't arrogance or anything, because we hadn't earned any of that yet, but it was a group that really figured out who they were and came to terms with how good they could be, and weren't scared at all. That was the big thing. We were not scared of anybody, and that was a cool feeling as a coach to be a part of that group. And obviously, if you watched the Super Regional, you saw that lack of fear come into play in Game 3 on Sunday, when we die twice on the operating table and come back to life and end up getting Omaha anyway. So it was a cool year, and just a magical experience, and something that
I more to come.
I hope so. It's cool. It's something that you dream about, and you realize not many people get to do it, and you don't take it lightly when you get an opportunity.
Has the coach ever been years in a row with 2 different teams?
I don't know. That's a good question. You have to do some research on it. Get the I team on that one and do some digging. I don't know. I'm not quite there yet. I'm thinking that I'm just trying to win. I'm just trying to win a series against Davis this weekend.
That's right. And so we might as well just bring it up now. So UC Santa Barbara hosted a regional. Was it back in 2016, right, Dimitri? We looked it up. 2015. But they actually had. Yeah. You guys had to host it off campus, so you couldn't host at your home field. Yeah, Lake Elsinore. Yeah. And the reason why is because the field wasn't, I guess, suitable for like a regional capacity and camera angles and stuff. Is that right?
It's actually just we don't have lights.
Oh.
The lights are coming in June. So we actually have the field's great. It's not huge, but it's a really nice field. It's got great camera angles actually. You watch a game on Big West TV sometime.
We will. And we're always looking for more baseball. Late night baseball too.
Check the Beard on TV. It'd actually be a really cool place to host a regional. We have plenty of room to bring in additional seating that would be needed. It's just the lights. We don't have lights yet. They're coming in June. They've been approved. They were supposed to be installed in January, and we hit water actually when they went to start drilling, and so they had to go. We're right on the beach. That's a recruiting pitch.
Yeah, recruiting pitch right there.
Yeah, right there. We're literally on the beach. We're right there. So when they started to drill, they hit water. So we had to go back and redo some of the permitting and specs on that. So it'll come in as soon as our season's over. They'll come in and install them.
Okay. And so if let's say you guys finish in the top 16 and have a chance to host a regional, any kind of prospect places you guys are looking at? Because now is the time to look. You don't want to be too far behind.
Yeah. We're not really caught up in that right now. Our administrators are certainly working behind the scenes to think about what possibilities might be out there. There's Lake Elsinore looks like they've got a home series, so that's probably out. But there's a pro club in San Bernardino, which is about 2 hours east of us. That's a nice ballpark that would be suitable for that. There's a few minor league parks within a reasonable drive for us. So we're looking at some of those options. It sounds cliche, but our focus is just trying to win a few more games and get to that point. The RPI is not in our favor. Obviously, we're at 4 right now, but just as we go through our conference schedule, it'll get pulled down just by some of the RPIs of other clubs in our conference. So the math is difficult for us to stay in that top 16. Not that you couldn't host outside of that range, but I think we'd have to play pretty close to perfect baseball to probably get into that. So we're gonna see what happens, and we'll be ready if that's a possibility. Our people are good and they're on it, and we'll try and win as many games as we can and make it hard on the committee.
Right, yeah, exactly. That's all you can do, right?
Well, Coach, you mentioned being right on the beach, and it's a nice recruiting pitch. I feel like something that also helps with recruiting is another coach. So, and it's obviously been a hot topic among college baseball in the industry, but I kind of would like to hear your opinion as someone who lives and breathes it every day, what it might mean to you guys and your staff if you had that resource at your disposal.
Absolutely insane. I can't, for the life of me, find any reason to vote against it. And I get that you say, well, we can't afford it, or where are the funds going to guy, and we don't want to get left behind. It's all BS. It's all garbage. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do anything other than you're giving an opportunity to someone who's working their tail off for nothing to become a full member of the staff. And it just sucks because there's not enough opportunities. We're missing the boat anyway with this proposal. It should be another coach, not just turning the volunteer into a recruitable coach. That doesn't solve the problem. It's better. It's 100% better because it gets young guys an opportunity. It gets another person an opportunity to go out and recruit and become, what people will call a full-time coach. But we need another person. That's the biggest issue. We need another body. We're not changing the ratio at all, and we're still at the same number of coaches. We should open that up. We should say, hey, you pay them whatever you want, but you can have 4 coaches total. 4 assistant coaches total. So 5 total staff members. Pay them whatever you want. Pay them nothing. Pay them grad school. Pay them whatever that your school can afford. It gives another opportunity for a lot of young coaches to stay in the game. I know a ton of guys that I've been doing this for 18 years now, that have just dropped off along the way. Really talented coaches, really great people who just said, I can't do it. I can't get a job. I can't stay in the game. I can't, I can't go and be a grad manager again. I need a gig. I need to learn how to do this job. And until somebody has an opportunity to give me that experience, no one's going to hire me. So you'd end up recycling sort of the same people, and that sucks. So we're missing the boat overall, but this is a step in the right direction to add that designation that the volunteer can get rid of that stupid word too, volunteer. I mean, it sounds like you're just you're doing a charity internship or something. Like these guys are, I mean, these guys are coaches. I was a volunteer at one point. I mean, there was no volunteering about it. I mean, I was running the offense and hauling the gear around. I mean, making hotel reservations. I mean, we've all been there, I think, as young guys who would say, I'd do anything. I'd pack up my car and drive across the country to be the volunteer at Arkansas or Connecticut or wherever. As a 22-year-old or 23-year-old, I'd have done any of that and give guys opportunities, help our players get more coaches, more help, more bodies to assist them in their goals and chasing their dreams. It's ludicrous that anyone would vote against this. And anybody that says, well, we're just trying to make sure that, we don't get left behind because Alabama is going to poach our vote, then that happens. That happens anyway. Like the bigger schools have more money, they hire away guys. Like that happens all the time. That's not going to change. This rule doesn't change that. It's just giving an opportunity for more talented young coaches to get into the profession and stay in, and helps our student athletes get a better experience. And so it's asinine and it's garbage if you vote against this. So
you're getting me fired up.
Any administrators are listening, you're missing the boat on this one, and I hope it passes. I feel like in my heart of hearts that it's gonna squeak by, and we'll get it started. And I think once we get this rolling, people will see, hey, we can do it this way, and we feel like our role anyway is going to be finding the next good talent that's young and maybe a little bit inexperienced, and we can help mold it. And if that guy moves on and gets a better gig, then good for him. But let's give guys opportunities.
Well, dude, thanks for your thoughts. That was awesome. Really, really good.
Sorry, that was a rant, huh?
No. We needed that.
You've only spent 18 years in it. You deserve a handful of minutes to give a rant. 18 years for a handful of minutes is a fair trade, at least.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the whole word for volunteer assistant, because there's no volunteering about it. Like, it makes it seem like you have a full-time job and you show up to game day to like coach first base. Like, no, like these guys are probably putting in more hours, showing up early for the weight room with the players, and then any kind of like hitting, like extra hitting doing on and off the field, like they're going to be there. They book hotel rooms, they do everything like behind the scenes. And so there's no volunteering about it. There's just, they don't get a salary like all the other coaches do. That's the only difference.
Yeah, it's a stupid word, because it demeans what they do in their role. And our volunteer is great. I mean, he does more work than any of us. He's running. After our game on Sunday, he's got to stick around and do lessons just to make ends meet. And he's there early, throwing early BP for our guys, and running the bullpen, and doing all the charts, and making sure our office is running. And those are the unsung heroes. Those guys, they're always around, and they have to do some of the stuff that us lazy older guys have said, hey, I don't want to do that anymore, and play the old man card on guys. Without those guys, we don't run as well, and we're not as good a team. So let's get rid of that junk.
Yeah, let's. Yeah. I do have a gut feeling that it's going to get passed. I really do. I think that there's enough momentum in the right direction where people are going to like step up and make the right decision. So let's talk a little bit about what you do in the summertime. I can't believe we went this long without talking about it. You are the.
He knows you don't want to talk about it.
I'm gonna let Dimitri talk to you about it, because Dimitri also plays international baseball for Team Greece. But so, Dimitri, how did you meet Coach Fergus?
We were in Ireland, and we were in the C pool, B pool European Championship, and he was over there, and I was just talking to him, and I was like, so like, what do you normally do? Because Ireland hasn't been around that long from a national team perspective. And he's like, I coach in the States and stuff like that. And I just like, just getting to know him, I was like, okay, yeah, this guy's cool. Like he knows American baseball rather than European or national baseball. But it was fun playing against you guys. We'll see them again in July.
Yes, so Coach, you coach for the Team Ireland in the summers, right? For the European Championships. How did you get that gig? Are you full Irish, or like what are the criteria to get the coaching job there?
Well, my name is Donegal Fergus, so it was a pretty easy application process. It's actually it's an interesting story. I didn't have any plans to do it. I didn't even know they had a team for years and years and years. But a couple of years ago, somebody had sent me, said, "Hey, do you know Baseball Ireland has a national team? Did you ever think about playing for them?" And I said, "Well, no, I didn't even know they had one." And so they sent me some information on it. And so I reached out and I said, "Hey, this is cool. Like, I think it's interesting and I'd like to know more, and maybe I can help." And I was thinking more in terms of just maybe finding American players that were eligible and helping send them over. I think I was coaching at Seattle U at the time. And so I just sort of sent an email like, "Hey, I think it's cool that you got this. Let me know if there's something I can do to help on that end." And so we started emailing back and forth with a few of the people, and it ended up kind of becoming an interesting. I'd get an email every now and then saying, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And we're trying to find players. Can you connect us with people? And so I don't want to say consulting, but it was just sort of I was a voice that they would ask some questions to. And then about a year and a half ago, I got a call from a buddy of mine who's the head coach of Great Britain national team, Liam Carroll, who used to coach at UNLV, and we have a lot of mutual friends. We became friends years ago, and he said, "Hey, I gave your name to the Baseball Ireland GM. They need some help, and they were looking for somebody to help them get this thing going. They're hosting the Pool C championships, European championships, and they don't really know what they're doing so much. They've got some great people, but their experience is pretty limited." And I said, "You could probably help them." So struck up a conversation with that guy, with Chris Santamond, who was the GM, and Sean Mitchell, who was the head coach for years and years and years. And we just hit it off, and it was cool. And I think it was about January that Chris texted me, and he says, "Hey, I know this is crazy, but is there any chance you want to come over and run the team this summer?" And I said, "Well, that's crazy. I can't. I got to recruit. That's recruiting season. I can't go anywhere." And so, but the more we talked about it, he says, "Hey, we would love to have you." And the head coach, Sean, who, like I said, an Irish guy who'd been there, since the beginning, said, "Hey, we could really use a new voice and some fresh eyes on this." And so the more I thought about it, I thought, this is kind of a bucket list type of thing. I want to do it. I want to help. And it was, I think, the fact that it was their first time hosting, the first time really having a shot, they felt like to do something, that I thought, I need to do this, and I need to figure out a way to do it. And I asked my boss at Washington at the time, like, "Hey, you think it'd be okay if I did this?" And we worked out an arrangement with our compliance office where I got an exemption. We got an exemption for our volunteer to go recruit if I was coaching the team. So we wouldn't miss any recruiting opportunities. He could go and do it. And then obviously when I switched to Santa Barbara, after I said yes, one of the first things I had to tell him was, "And by the way, I got to leave for 18 days to go coach the Irish national team. Sorry." But he was great about it. And it was a once in a lifetime sort of deal. I felt like to go and be a part of it. I had no idea what I was getting into. Like, I didn't know if we were any good. I didn't know what the fields would be like. I didn't know who the other teams were. I was just going to try and help out as best I could. And it turned out to be such a cool experience. As Demetrius probably told you guys and would agree, there's some quirkiness to European baseball, man. I mean, you see some stuff, man. The Team Finland smoking heaters in the dugout and drinking beer before the game. Like, you don't even know. Like, you need to
guys are smoking a pack of cigarettes and their beer during warm-ups. Like, it's different.
It's insane. And then we play Greece, and the guy's throwing 96. So you're like, I don't even know what to make of this. And doesn't
the Netherlands has like a 7'1" pitcher, right? I I've seen videos of him, and he looks literally like a ladder.
Loic Van Mil, yeah. I saw him in 2016 in Amsterdam.
It's just quirkiness all across European baseball. But hey, we love it that they're playing.
We'll see them again in Bulgaria in July, I think it is. You going?
Yeah, I will. I will be running the team again. They talked me into coming back I can only go for a week this time, but I'm going to come back and we're getting the band back together, and we'll be over there and we'll see what happens. It was such a fun experience, and I got to shoot in the breeze with Dimitri over there, and trying to get him out. He's a pretty good hitter. I don't think he gives himself enough credit. He took some good hacks for a PO, but it was cool competing against those guys, and such a wild scene.
The kid that I faced, I think I went 3 for 3 off of. Did he sign with the Mets?
Yeah.
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 I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Yeah. He took some good hacks, but we got him. We got the Greeks twice and won the whole thing. So we win.
That's
Sorry,
awesome.
Dimitri.
That's fine. New year, but no. So like American players playing ball over, trying to find college guys. Do you whenever do you see a name, how do you kind of go about that?
Yeah, the Chris St. Amand, who's the general manager, and Sean and some of those guys over there, they do a pretty good job of reaching out to our network. I don't do a lot of the searching for players for them. In fact, I was almost involved none at all in the first round. I showed up and they told me who we had. This year I've gotten involved a little bit because there were some names that they had that I had some connections with. So I help where I can, but obviously my focus is on Santa Barbara for the most part. But we've got a good group. We've got a good network of people who are out there searching. But some of it is really literally as simple as saying, hey, that kid's last name is Sullivan or O'Connor or Donahue or something. You're
Barry.
like, I wonder if he's Irish. Yeah, or Barry. And you just go, you email the coach and say, hey, does your kid know if he's Irish or not? And so it's not a great system. It's not foolproof. We're still building the infrastructure, but I'm honored to be a part of it and be a little factor in helping grow that thing. We're in the top 50 in the world rankings now for the first time ever. It's just cool. It's just cool. It's cool to be a part of. And the Irish, they don't know anything about baseball over there. We had some pretty cool crowds. They didn't know anything, as Dimitri noticed. But I'll tell you what, they found out right away. This is pretty cool. We get to drink outside in the afternoon and have a party. We're in on this. This is our alley. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, no, the championship. I remember. I was all week. There was not that many people there. All of a sudden, the whole city of wherever we were, Ashbourne, was there, and it was like 1,000 people just in the grass.
Just drinking beer and having a good time.
This is more like American baseball, but not in Europe, but in Europe. And I post
cool.
pictures of my Greek stuff, and guys were like, "Oh, I have Polish background. You think I can play for them?" And I'm like, "This is awesome. This is what European baseball needs. It needs more exposure because most guys have a heritage that traces back to somewhere in Europe."
Yeah, and I think that's a cool thing to reconnect with something that's in your past and your family. I just think it's a special thing, and for me, to like I said, it sort of became a bucket list thing. Like, I need to do this for myself. My parents got to go with me. They came over and stayed for the time with me, and they got to go and visit where our family's from. It was just a special experience and something I had to do for myself, I think.
No, that's awesome. Well, Coach, we appreciate the time. It's been over 30 minutes now. We'll let you go maybe recruit some more 2020 guys or 2021 guys. But you're welcome back on the show whenever you want. Maybe we'll get you back on before you guys head to Omaha this year. Sound good?
Well, I would love that, man. And you guys keep doing great work. I'm fired up for 11.7 and the whole gang over there. And anytime you want me, you just holler.
Let's do it.
Boss.
Hey, thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it.
All right. Take care, guys.